I finished Sunrise on the Reaping, I rated it 4 stars, so let's talk about my thoughts. This review will contain spoilers, so you've been warned. I'll start off with the positives, and then I'll go through a couple of things that I didn't like. So first off, I'll say, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was much stronger than A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I personally didn't love. This was definitely much more reminiscent of the original trilogy. The best thing about this book was definitely the characters. I love getting to fully explore Haymitch's backstory. It really explained why he is the way he is in the original trilogy. I thought they did a good job of showing his strengths and his weaknesses, and I like how we got to see him change throughout the book. We love some character development. In terms of the other characters, I loved Maisie. She was my absolute favourite. Her strength and her attitude right to the very end. I love that there was more to her than you could originally see, and we got to know her as Haymitch did. I also thought Plutard was a great addition to the story. It was interesting to see just how long he'd been helping the rebels. And of course, getting to know more about the other victors, BT, Mags and Wirus, it really makes you reflect on what we know about them in the original trilogy. As always, the political elements of this book were executed perfectly, and there were some really interesting societal discussions and reflections. In theory, I liked the idea of having double the amounts of tributes. I thought it created a really nice dynamic within the District 12 tributes. I loved how their personalities complemented each other and how they worked together before the games. I will say though, the second the game started, there being double the amounts of tributes had absolutely no impact on the plot. Not even a little bit. We never see all of the tributes together, and the vast majority of them seem to be killed at the exact same time. And that's all off screen, so to say. So I do think way more could have been done with that. I also thought there was one major plot hole which really frustrated me, and that was the lack of immediate consequences for Haymitch's actions during the games. So you're telling me that Ambert, Maisie, and the other career who killed a game maker were all instantly killed for their actions, but Haymitch, who literally blew up part of the arena, was allowed to live. Why? That made absolutely no sense to me. Snow had warned him that if he didn't stay in line, he would have a slow and painful death, and that just never happened. Why? We were not given any good reason for that. So this definitely wasn't a perfect book to me, but I did have such a great time reading it. It was so nice to be back in this world. Well, nice might be the wrong phrase, but you know what I mean. I know there's a lot of discussions going on at the moment about whether there'll be any further books in the series, but I'm personally really hoping we get a book about the careers. I think it's one angle that hasn't been fully explored in this series yet, the idea of someone being so brainwashed by their oppressor. But I'd love to know in the comments, what did you think about this book, and do you think there'll be any further books in the series?